All right. Hello. Welcome to CKLA Chats. This is Unit 6, Contemporary Fiction. And today we're going to talk about Lesson 1, Reading for Details.
Yes, welcome. Remember, this session is primarily helpful to skills specialists, principals, assistant principals, because we know how busy your life is. So we want to give you a brief synopsis of each lesson in this new unit for fourth grade. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Ashley Giles. If you don't know, District Literacy Coach 4 through 5, and my partner here,
Sarah Foster Yankee, DLC 4th through 5th.
And we are going to dig right in. So lesson 1, House on Mango Street. So students are going to be reading vignettes. And so make sure that we call those vignette 1s. Or it's vignette 2, vignette 3. So for the first lesson, the purpose is students are reading this vignette to understand how the authors use details to help them visualize the setting. Man, I see so many skill-based words here. Those of you who are worried about if our kids are getting their STAR skills, hate to say that word, but they are. Just letting y'all know it's all embedded. And for writing, students will underline, same for reading. Students will underline and quote details from the text in order to visualize, annotate, and make inferences about the story setting. Right, Sarah? You see all those words, those buzzwords popping out.
Exactly.
So for this lesson, we start with the reading component. And this section is broken down into a couple sections. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the cub. Cub for lesson 1 says, the student will know what the house on Mango Street, and the author's imagined house looks like. Okay, so we're doing some visualizing here. The student will understand the author's use of details that helps us visualize or know what those houses look like. So how to be close readers, look closely. And the student will be able to underline descriptions and use evidence to create annotated drawings of 2 settings in the house on Mango Street. So this particular lesson, the reading portion, is broken down into 3 components. You see you have your close reading. That's going to be whole group, 25 minutes. Students are going to engage in analyzing and analyzing. Well, yes, they are going to be analyzing, but they're going to be visualizing and annotating as they analyze. And finally, they're going to get to do some partner work after the teacher has done some modeling. So I'm going to talk about the first step for our close reading. That'll be for 25 minutes. And basically, the teacher is going to start off asking the students, what is close reading? So setting the purpose. What is close reading? Students can respond. Teacher gives the expectation for close reading because today they're going to be doing this close reading. And then she's going to talk about, okay, we're going to be reading vignette 1. And so the teacher is going to talk to its students about the setting, asking questions. What is setting? Why is the setting important? Most kids in 4th grade will know what setting is. So you really want to hone in on why. The teacher should really hone in on why is the setting important. Students need to know why it is important. And so they're going to be evaluating why setting is important. So then they're going to go into reading the first vignette 1, which is titled The House on Mango Street. And the teacher's going to set the purpose and say that they are reading for details, right? So in order to annotate and visualize, you have to read for details. So the teacher is going to read the first time. As the teacher is reading, she's going to read it twice. So the students are going to follow along the first time. The second time the teacher reads the first vignette, she's going to have them close their eyes. And so the students are going to close their eyes for 5 seconds. And as she's reading, they need to visualize what they are hearing being described. And the teacher should also explain to them that as good readers, you look at these details and you visualize. So you're talking to them about the word visualization. And so that's the whole purpose of this activity, the students closing their eyes so they can just listen to these details and visualize what this house on Mango Street looks like. And then finally, she's gonna, not finally, but then she's gonna have them open their eyes and she's gonna talk about one question here. It says they're gonna find details in the descriptions of the setting. So that was the whole first part. So I'm gonna pause. So that was a close read. You close read and you close your eye. The students close their eyes and they visualize. Then we're going to move into the visualizing and annotating section, which is whole group again, and that is also 25 minutes. The teachers are going to talk about details and the importance of details. She's going to have students point to places in which they visualize that help them to visualize in the text. So really having the students point out, like analyze the text and point out, well, what did you visualize? And why did you visualize that? Well, hopefully the student is like, well, right here in the text, it says it. And they can point to that for the teacher. So be looking for that, students actually pointing to that evidence that supports what they visualized when their eyes were closed. Then the teacher is going to have a projection. There's a projection. It's called projection 1, and she's going to display the actual reading of the vignette, The House on Mango Street. And so the teacher, so this is her modeling part. She's going to display that vignette, and she's going to show students the words, the descriptor words that help describe what this house looked like. So what you should see, leaders, is a teacher either on the Elmo or on the Promethean board displaying this text and underlining key descriptor words, so adjectives that describe the house on Mango Street. And not just, so she's modeling, but it's okay if they solicit to the students, well, what other descriptor words do you have? So as long as you see the teacher actually modeling, underlining these description words, this is what you should see during this time. Following that, based off my details that I underlined, what did they do before in the close reading? They visualize. So now they're going to draw it. So the teacher, after she annotates her text, because we're annotating by underlining what this house looks like, then they're going to draw this house that they visualize. Now we're going to draw it on the whiteboard, or if you want your students to have the teachers want the students to have a piece of paper, white paper on their desk, and they can draw it, that's fine. But the teacher should also have one on the board, and they're using these words, they underline these descriptive words, and they're going to draw the house on Mango Street. So it says in our text that the teacher could use chart paper or the whiteboard, and they're going to use the first 2 descriptive words, which are small and red. So in the text, the first 2 words that describe this house, that is small and red. So on the board, they're going to need to draw a small house, and it needs to be red. Now, when we talk about annotating, the teacher will need to label, right, this house as it's drawn. So how do we know it's small? They need to draw a little dash mark. The teacher could draw a dash mark next to the house and label it small, or get a red expo, or if students are also doing it with her, they can get a crayon, color that house red and label it red. So they're taking their actual details from the text, their annotations, and now they're drawing what it is they're supposed to be visualizing. Students can come up to the board and also help the teacher with this annotating. And for the most part, that's going to be the one key word that you need to, one key idea to take away is that the teacher needs to stress the importance of what details shows you that this is what the house looks like. How do you know? So basically, what's your evidence? And so that's the whole point of this section, visualizing and annotating. And so that'll bring us to section 3, which is the partner reading. So this same activity where the teacher has read about the house on Mango Street, now the teacher is going to partner up the students. They're going to read about 2 other houses. These 2 houses are called the Loomis Flat, and then this imagined house. And this is just, the imagined house is a house where the author would like to be. And so basically the teacher's going to pair up the students, and they are going to each, so one student's going to be A, one student is going to be B. If you're an A, if your partner A, you are going to first sit back to back. So what should you see students doing? Sitting back to back. We know it's COVID, so however the teacher wants to do that, sitting face to face but spread out, or neck, I don't know, however they decide to partner the kiddos up. But partner A is going to All the A's are going to underline words describing the imagined house. Partner B is going to underline all the descriptive words for the Loomis flat. And then so they're going to look at activity page or writer's journal. So in this unit is called writer's journal. And so writer's journal page 1.2, the teacher's going to instruct them to look there. And you're going to have, the teacher should be reminding the students as you're reading and underlining, make sure you're reading closely and reading slowly and carefully and finding these adjectives or these descriptor words to underline. So once they complete their close reading, remember this is they already did the I do, the teacher already modeled, and this is kind of like the we do because they're doing it together, kind of like with their partner. So this would be the we do / you do, I would say, Sarah, right? So they're going to close read their portion, depending on what house, and they're going to underline all those details. And then after that, to me, this is the funnest part. Those partners are going to read those details to their partner. So if I'm partner A, I'm going to read my details to my partner, and my partner now, just like we did in the I do with the teacher, is going to draw the house based off my details. And same goes with partner B. Partner B reads their details from their close reading, and then partner A is drawing their, draw exactly what they visualize or draw exactly what is read from those details that their partner gave them. And so basically, teacher, as they're doing that, students are sitting back to back, reading, drawing, teachers circulating around the room, and just ensuring that they're talking about these major adjectives or, descriptor words that describe each house. And then finally, after they're done, the partners are going to show the drawing to each other, and they're going to basically evaluate, well, was my drawing accurate? Based off my details, based off my partner's details, was my drawing accurate? And same for the other partner. Show your visualization photo, your drawing to your partner, based off my details, was it accurate? And then if they miss some things, like if they didn't pay close enough attention to certain details, they left something out, this is the time when students should have that conversation. Well, I said this detail, you didn't put that in your drawing, so let's add that to your drawing. So great time for student conversation about close reading and annotating. And that's going to, and of course, the teacher will bring them back together, talk about details and the whole purpose of this lesson, and clarify any misconceptions for your students. And that's going to end the reading portion. Move into writing. And here are their formative assessments. This is their readings about the houses. And then they also have a page here, blank page, to do their drawing with their partner work. And so here are certain paragraphs. This middle one, 1.2, the two houses, the Loomis house, the imagined house. So they're going to read their specific portion. And 1.1 is the house on Mango Street, which the teacher did as an I do. That takes us to writing.
All right. Okay, so for writing, our cub is that students will know what strong descriptions are. They'll understand that strong descriptions attend to details, and they will be able to write a detailed description of a real or imaginary home using Writer's Journal 1.3. Okay, so there are two components to the writing lesson. For the first component, creating detailed descriptions, which is going to last about 15 minutes, it's really going to depend on how your students did with detail in the reading component of the lesson. So if they did really strong, well, sorry, let me do the other one first. So if you think they still need a little bit more work with it, you could have them write a detailed description about a setting from their own lives. So a setting that they're already familiar with. And if they did a little bit better, like they really got it, then you could have them invent a setting, like make one up to write about. Okay, so whichever option the teacher decides to go with, the first thing that they're going to do is model. So they have an example in the curriculum. The teacher's going to model an example. It says they write a big house with a purple door and green grass. Okay, so that's going to be their annotation. And then they're going to draw a house with a purple door but no windows. So they're really modeling what happens when the detail doesn't match the picture. So kind of messing it up
Mhm.
first on purpose. Okay, but then they're going to go back and correct that, making sure the annotation matches the house that they draw. So there is a note that this activity is designed to get students attending to details. So seeing how important it is to include the right details in your writing to get the reader to picture whatever it is or visualize, use the right word, whatever it is that you would like them to visualize.
Which is pretty cool, right? Like, what a great way to teach this,
Yeah, and you see
I
it
think.
flows naturally from the reading
Right.
lesson. Like they
Hmm.
go together perfectly.
Right.
So there is a check for understanding where the teacher is going to circulate and just make sure that students are writing. You're asking them questions about the house that they're writing about, and if they need some prompts to get them started, you're kind of just offering those. Um, so once students have had a chance to do the writing, they're going to be exchanging journals with their partner. This is going to take about 5 minutes at the end. That's the partner feedback component. They're going to read their partner's descriptions and then draw and annotate the house that was described. And that pretty much is the writing lesson. The teacher just concludes by congratulating the students on their first writing activity. And then in the next lesson, they're going to talk about incorporating the feedback from the partner about the details.
Nice.
All right. So here is our formative assessment. So in this space, they're going to write their descriptions, describe the house. And on this page is where their partner is using the descriptions that they wrote to draw the house that they described. Okay. And that concludes lesson 1. All right. So we would love to hear from you. If you have any comments or questions about any of the lessons in Unit 6, you can email us, tweet us, and for all the CKLA chat videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Team 3 DLC.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Bye bye.